Well, baseball season is finally here, and hopefully our New York Yankees are going to win the World Series this year. In honor of our national pastime, we're going to play a little trivia. Arch, do you know who got hit with the most balls last year?
Yeah.
Your
It,
sister. If you want to see two guys who knock it out of the park every time, go to YouTube and search out at NTTFGPOD and hit that subscribe button. I'm Rock.
and I'm Archie.
Well, our opinions, they might not matter to some, but
What are you doing in there?
it's a podcast.
Immature, crass, trashy. And those are their good qualities. These poor schmucks are a couple of IQ points away from eating paste. But when it comes to music, sports, and comedy, well, that's all they know. You're listening to
Not these two fucking guys.
Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast.
Yo, Rock.
What's up?
Our guest tonight is an MMA legend, an author, a podcaster, and one of the greatest minds the sport has ever known. Please welcome back to Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast, Jon Fitch. What's up, dude?
What's going on, guys?
How are you?
I'm good. Good.
You know, I don't know about you, but time be flying. I looked back to see like when you were last on the podcast, and it's been years.
4 years
Yeah.
ago. I couldn't believe it. We were
That
talking
meant it was
about,
4, right?
Yeah. We were talking
Well,
about it was right when the
Lockdowns
pandemic.
probably, and lockdowns and enforced boops and stuff like that probably.
Yes.
Yes. We talked about homeschooling, all this stuff. The world, I think, thank God's in a better place now. But
Well, I think there's a lot of people who are very optimistic about the future right now, which is a good thing. I think we can write that into some good things, but things are still rough and they could get rougher. We just got to be ready.
Yeah.
right on. So let's
Indeed.
let's hop right into it. Something that you've been a big part of, the lawsuit against the UFC.
Mhm.
And the settlement that just came down. I know we talked a little bit about this. This was, I guess, the beginnings of it last time. And we followed your journey along on social media of the court case. I mean, the court appearances and all that kind of stuff. But for the listeners, talk about what just happened. It's pretty monumental.
Yeah, it was a 12-year battle. We won every step of the way. It's a very important thing that people understand and realize that, and fighters understand that. We won every legal argument there was. We got class certification from the judge because we were correct in all of our accusations. They could not disprove a single thing that we were saying. They only had to prove one thing wrong in the slightest bit, and the whole case gets thrown out. They could not do that. We got class certification. And if we weren't seeking damages, if we were just seeking injunctive relief, the judge probably would have granted us injunctive relief a while ago, which means he would have changed the business model because their business model is currently illegal.
Yeah.
I have to get that point across. This isn't like a sexual assault. He said, she said, well, maybe, we don't know, can't prove it, can't. Yes, we 100% proved our case, right? But we got to a place where too much time had passed. You need a 3-year window to get an injunctive relief, and we'd kind of passed that mark, so we were no longer eligible for injunctive relief. And then we were going to have to go to a jury trial for the damages, right? When there's money involved, it goes to a jury trial. It's not just the judge's decision. So we got to that point, and we were in a spot where, keep going and stay with the Johnson class, keep fighting for injunctive relief, keep fighting for the whole thing, or we take a sizable settlement at $375 million for the fighters in the league class, so that guys who need the money now because they have medical issues and other things going on can get some relief. and then the Johnson class will continue, and they still have injunctive relief eligible to them.
Wow. So how does that feel? I mean, not that like I don't know that you'd be somebody that go around and say I told you so, but I mean, you've been saying this from the beginning. Like you were right on everything that you said. That's got to feel like a catharsis or something.
A little bit, but I mean, it's like moral victories don't do much.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, the uh the really good thing, the thing I'm really happy about is there are guys who really need help. There are guys who were told if you just lay it out on the line, if you just risk everything and throw down and throw caution to the wind and have no defense and just get hit and hit back and we'll always take care of you. Turns out that was a lie.
Yeah.
Right? Big lie, big, huge lie. Lied right to a lot of people's faces. Before every single event that I ever fought in, they gave a big speech that went similar to that what I just said.
Mhm.
We'll always take care of you. No, they won't. They didn't. There's a lot of guys who they did not take care of, and they are suffering severe CTE and other medical issues now, and are having struggles taking care of their families, paying bills, and UFC is nowhere to be found. But they will still use those highlight videos of those guys fighting to push their own brand and make money. Um, so it feels really good to get those guys relief because those guys needed it, right? For me, it was never about money. I didn't care about money. I never argued for more money. Um, I wanted a meritocracy. I wanted a sport, a real sport
Yeah.
where the top guys, you win, you move forward. The top guys fight the top guys, not a popularity contest, right? If you had a problem with the way somebody fought, change the rules so that they can't fight that way, if that's really what it comes down to. Um, but so I'm still waiting for the Johnson class to get my like finally the sport's back. We have a real sport. Um, I'm just not into watering down competition in order for popularity for people who aren't really fans, and you're doing it just to make money for the guys at the top. It's not even the athletes who are getting the real hunk of the money.
I don't know if you're privy to say, but how does something like this get funneled, like divvied up? Like he's not doing very well. We give him more money. How much are your bills?
No, it's going to,
Like,
yeah, no, it's going to be based off first off, we have to get everybody who is eligible signed up for it so that we have a pool of guys. We have a solid number of guys so we know how much that money is getting split up into.
mm,
The lawyers are taking about 30%. They actually took a little bit less than is normally allowed in this type of case.
Oh.
Um, the fighters then will be based off of number of fights, and then they have a calculation percentage of your money that you made from them, right? Because it's like a calculation of how much money they stole from you, basically. So
gotcha.
they'll go, you get paid per fight, and then whatever that algorithm, whatever they come up with to decide what percentage you had taken from you, and then that will get divided up. All of the leftover money will get divided up from all the guys based off of that.
Okay. All right. Seems
So,
seems somewhat fair.
how would you? What's the easiest way for you to break it down into layman's terms of what the crux of the case?
UFC used contracts as a part of their scheme to monopolize the market. They bought other promotions and shut them down. They bought the top talent from every weight class. They bought the other belts and consolidated them by shutting down all the other belts. And they used never-ending contracts in order to keep fighters on the line and away from other competitors.
So, you talked about too last time about how it's being a monopoly and illegal where a promotion shouldn't be in control of the belts and
Yes.
like that kind of thing where it makes it more of a popularity contest and that kind of thing. Um,
Yeah,
the
well, it no longer is a sport if the promoter controls the title and controls ascension to title and can control who's signed in order to fight for the title. Uh, you put roadblocks in the way. You put restrictions on competition. In order for it to be a real sport, you can't have restrictions on competition. It has to be unfettered.
Mm.
So it's like the equivalent of, okay, so the Dodgers make it to the World Series, and you know, in the playoffs, instead of playing the Mets, we want you to play a third place team who is more popular than you or drew more than you. That's essentially what it is. It's not the best against the best.
Yeah, yes, it's a pretty close description of it, but we have to be careful when comparing prize fighting to other team sports and other sports because no other sport is prize fighting. Prize fighting stands alone. There is no comparison to prize fighting. There's only different types of prize fighting.
Mm.
Sure.
And in order for prize fighting to work as a legitimate sport, everybody needs to be able to compete for rank and title, regardless of who they are, where they're from, how much money they have, how popular they are, or who the promoter they're signed with is.
So let me ask you this. We talked last about 4 years ago. Do you see, do you think it's gotten worse as far as the popularity for fights or that kind of thing? Or do you think that it's leveled out more where the best fighters are getting the opportunities?
No, it's gotten way worse. It's gotten
Oh,
way worse.
shit.
It's more and more of a popularity contest. And even then, I don't even think they care as so much about people caring about the fight. It's more about gambling. The fights really are more about gambling and just
Mhm.
what are the odds. I think more of the fans who are watching today, you have a bunch of people who are pro wrestling fans who just care about the outside drama, who don't care anything about what's going on in the cage necessarily.
Sure.
They do care about winning and losing, but they don't really care about the skill sets displayed. They care more about the trash talk and what's going on outside of it. And then a big contingent of people is just gamblers, and all they care about are the odds. And when that happens now, what's happening now is like it doesn't even matter who's fighting. It's just what are the odds of these guys and how can I win money off of it?
Yeah, and that essentially is, I mean, gambling is fortunately, unfortunately, a huge part of the sport.
Oh,
Um,
it's like every sport now.
Yeah.
the problem is it's so accessible now, right? You do it from your we're in New Jersey. You do it from your phone. I
Right
can
from your phone. Yeah.
yeah. You can do
Mhm.
online casino. You could be betting on any sports book. Um, but as far as what do you think that? Okay, so it's a popularity contest. Who has the most followers? Who has a good shtick or something like that? How do you think that real change could be made in the sport if the mindset is now, okay, we'll just go out there and make a name for yourself because it is essentially like pro wrestling. You go out there, you cut a
Oh, it
promo.
is. It's the same business model. It's been the same business model since the Fertitas sat down with WWE back 20 years ago to figure out what they were doing so they could copy it. And the guys from Endeavor or TKO or whatever now were in the room also working with them.
Yeah, well now TKO is a parent company of both companies, right? WWE and UFC. So
Hmm.
No, like I've talked to people. It sounds like I have this sneaky suspicion that those guys from TKO, that Endeavor group, they were involved in the original. This is my conspiracy theory. They were involved in the original purchase that the Fertitas made back from the original SEG company.
oh
I
wow,
think I think they put the Fertitas up as fronts because they could keep it a private business and they could monopolize the market behind closed doors because
wow,
if the TKO guys bought into it, they would have been a public company and everybody would have watched what they were doing as they were doing it.
that's interesting.
That's my conspiracy theory.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. Um, do you think that you talked about the Johnson case? You said
Yep, Johnson case is still going
explain
on.
explain what that is.
So, the league class was 2010 to 2017, and then it cuts off, and then the Johnson class they refiled another lawsuit, right? So they filed another lawsuit, another class action lawsuit, and the Johnson class is 2017 to present day. And the idea is you keep filing a new set of lawsuits every time period that you can because they're not changing their business model. If they're not correcting the laws they're breaking, then you keep suing them until they do. It's one of the strategies to get change is to put pressure on them because now they have this ongoing lawsuits that are just never going to end. One of the hiccups we've run into is the UFC started forcing fighters to sign waivers as a part of their promotional agreement. So now they have to sign a waiver on top of the agreement saying that they'll take any disputes to arbitrary court. Now they have to say that they won't join any class action lawsuits to sue them
Wow.
for, which to me, like, so that's something that can be contested. I think that's what we're going to try to do is contest that in court, obviously. Um, because like, how can you force? It's like, hey, we're already getting sued for doing something illegal to these guys. You come work for us, we're gonna have to force you to say you won't sue us for doing the exact same thing we're doing to them
Yeah.
because we're gonna do it to you too.
Yeah, we're doing it to a new generation now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So only about half the guys of that Johnson class are eligible even because of that waiver. There's like 600, 700 guys that are eligible in that class. So, um, that's going to be one of the things that they're going to have to talk about in that case.
I mean, how much money could they be making that they lose the judgment for $375 million and they still don't change
Anything,
yeah, anything. I mean,
anything, they make things worse,
so
right? They
basically what they're saying is we're okay with paying this every so often because that seems insane to me.
Yeah, and that's the thing we talked about. Like when we were first going through this, like they have this stuff written into their business model because they know they're breaking the law. They know that this is going to come, so they already have all of this money put aside instead of paying the athletes and doing things the correct way. They put money aside because it's cheaper to pay off the lawsuit than it is to actually change the business model.
Uh,
That's
wow.
insane. That's
That's
really
fun.
insane. And I wonder too, like the legality of it, right? Because you guys, when you sign a contract with UFC, you're an independent contractor, correct? Like you're not, they
Yes,
hire
you're
you as
independent
that,
contractors, but they often treat you like an employee.
right? Yeah, with what you have to do and telling you what to do. And
What you can say, what you can wear, how you behave. Yep.
Hmm.
Even the
that's,
drug testing policy is partly kind of messed up for independent contractor.
we've talked to a lot of fighters along the way about, obviously it's old news now with, originally the Reebok deal they had with with the fight kits and all that kind of stuff. And they, I guess they had some kind of, formula they did. If you had this many fights and blah blah blah, you get that much money. But to me, it sounds contractor, but you're required to wear essentially a uniform. You can't.
Mhm.
If you're truly independent, you should be able to get your own sponsors. I don't. I mean, obviously, I'm not a lawyer, but that just seems like
Yeah.
that.
No,
Like,
it's
Yeah.
100%. That's part of the argument. It's part of what this is about. Like it's not they're trying to get all the benefits of like employing independent contractors at the same time taking the benefits of having employees working for you.
wow.
Jesus.
Do you? So I see lately you do a lot of seminars. Uh,
Mhm.
what are you seeing as far as? I mean, besides obviously whatever the seminar is that you're doing, talking to the students, is there any talk about this? Is there any talk about what's the
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. People don't know what's going on. People don't talk about, they don't really know. Like they might have heard whispers of something, but they don't understand. People don't get it. Like it's wild, man. It's really wild.
it's I guess they don't care. They look at the you know
Well, I mean, the UFC has been really good at casting spells over the years, and they've convinced people that boxing's evil and terrible and awful, and no one should ever want to be involved in it ever, even though it's like an absolutely thriving market where
Hmm.
people make tons of money and there's tons of fights on all the time and tons of weight classes and belts, and it's like it's like saying like coffee is dead. Coffee's dead because there's coffee stands on every corner and
yeah.
everybody can have coffee at any time they want. The coffee's dead. There's too much of it. Doesn't make any sense. I will say that boxing's broken the fact that they don't enforce the mandatories they're supposed to. They should have more mandatories. And uh,
Like as far as like who you have to defend the title against, like that kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah. Under the Ali Act, every 12 months, the champion is supposed to defend against number one contender. So Canelo should be fighting Benavidez 100%. But he's not, and the reason he's not is because they're not enforcing it. They should strip the belt from him then. He should no longer be champion.
Yeah. Um,
I
and
think the other problem with boxing is something that it could happen with MMA. It kind of is happening with MMA too, but the consumption model. It's hard. When you have that many promoters, it's hard to get them all on board with one production company and one broadcaster,
yeah.
right? So like now now we have all these subscription services. You're gonna have like 10 different subscription services just to watch all the top boxing fights because they're all on a different streaming service. And then you can't have it's hard to get the streaming services to agree to say like, oh, who's gonna fight? This guy's signed with DAZN and this guy's signed with these guys. Like, how do we manage that fight? And that's a bit of a problem. But I think you're running into those kind of issues with MMA too, because um a lot of those companies are on different platforms or different things. And then even when you have a lot of stuff on UFC and UFC Fight Pass, you still have, you got Fight Pass, you got ESPN, then you got to pay for the pay-per-view, you got to pay your cable company, you got so many paywalls. Like
Yeah.
people are going into debt on their credit cards just to watch half the fights.
Well, that's the thing. I swear to God, I always believe it's like by design. It's like even on all the sports now, even like for like baseball, to watch like all the games, you have to have Prime, you have to have this, you have to have
Yeah.
that, and it's like, oh, you can watch this on here, but we don't have that, and it's like it's almost like they all got together and like, okay, we'll have this, you have that, and then here's our overlap.
Yeah.
It's like I have a sneaky suspicion they all own the pirating streaming services too. You
They
know,
Why not?
They charge all the people who are honest and pay for it, and then they get free ads and malware in your computer for the people who are stealing it.
Team up with your competitors.
That's it. You talked
Yeah.
last time too about that, you know, what they pay in boxing as far as what they pay in MMA, and you're saying even the top superstars in MMA, you know, boxing gets paid what they get paid. They're like half their career or their whole career in one fight. Why the
Well,
dis
John Nash broke down fighter pay a long time ago for boxing and MMA, and boxers make more money uh, at every step of their career, like how many fights they've had, type of thing. Other than the 85 to 95 percentile, and that's because the UFC pays some of those guys. I think they overpay,
Mhm.
for the first fights in the UFC. They do that on purpose because they're trying to skew the people's mindset of what's going on, because that's part of one of the spells they tell. It's like, oh, we pay better in boxing, you pay better in boxing. I mean, only 10%,
Very
and that's
few. Yeah.
only 10%. You only got 500 athletes signed.
Mhm.
There's what, 3,000 active fighters.
Wow.
It's just more opportunities. And and a lot of times it's not even just by per fight why they make more money. It's by year, because a lot of boxers will have more opportunities to fight throughout the year. If you can fight box 6 times in a year, you're gonna make more than that MMA fighter who fights once every 9 months, which you're starting to see. A lot of these guys are fighting once every 9 months, once a year even. And that's not even
Mm.
the champions. That's like somebody who's trying to be an upper comer. Like, how do you make a living at 10 and 10? You fighting
Yeah.
once a year.
Do you think that it's gotten like the talent pool is diluted a bit because there are so many, UFC events and because there was a time where like a pretty hardcore fan kind of knew every fighter, like even if
Yeah.
somebody obscure. Now it's like it's tough to
Yep.
manage it all.
Yeah, we're me and my girlfriend watch the fights and we joke because there's guys like, oh, this is his 10th fight. We're like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
Like, we
Mm.
watch pretty much every single fight, and we have no idea who this guy's had 10 fights. Like, he's retiring. This guy's retiring. Like, yeah, who is he? What's going on? That's part of the problem. Yeah, it's a little bit watered down. I think I don't want to be mean here, but some of the skills I think are watered down because everybody's just trying to point spar. a lot of fights.
Hmm.
That's really not memorable.
Sure.
You know, if you're watching sparring, like it's not a memorable thing to see. You know, you
Yeah.
want to see people biting down their mouthpiece and getting after it. You know, whether it's a stand-up fighter, you're gonna put them in the fence, beat the crap out of them. You know, there's a difference between first gear and fifth gear.
Do you think that I saw on one of the clips, I guess, from your podcast. By the way, shout out your podcast. Jon Fitch Knows Nothing. Great podcast. You still enjoy doing that, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I have fun. I have fun. I got some good crew people who pop in, and it's a two-way type of thing. I'm talking to the audience, they talk back. You know, I'm not just trying to preach at you.
Yeah.
Like I say in the title, I don't know nothing. I'm just trying to figure some things out by talking to other people. Maybe I missed something. I give my point of view, and I do it mostly now because I make any money off of it or to get some any views, but I don't hear anybody else talking about the things I talk about.
Sure.
Like I know there's no way I'm not special. There's no way I'm the only one thinking some of these things.
Yeah. I
I don't
remember
know.
last time.
You might be the only one.
The last time he was here, I remember you saying, like, I'm putting all this stuff together myself. I'm learning all this stuff about, like, even setting up, like your technology around you,
Yeah.
right? So how's that? How's that gone the past 4 years since we saw you? One man show,
Well,
doing
luckily
everything.
nothing's changed too much with technology. So once I figured out the basics,
You're
I've got it
good.
pretty like I pretty got it pretty locked in, you know.
Uh,
I use Restream to do broadcast stuff, so that keeps it pretty simple, you know. I don't have to like the OBS. I was struggling with that for a while because there's just too many moving parts.
mhm.
You know, I gotta keep it a little bit simple.
Nice.
But yeah, you know, but I got the same camera. The camera's still top quality. I'm taking care of it, not dropping it or nothing stupid.
One of the things you said in one of your clips, what I was saying before was you said that like the UFC owns John Jones,
Yeah.
and I thought that was a very interesting take on it.
Hmm.
Um,
Now
what
they own him. Like so if he dies tomorrow, his family won't make a dime off of everything they make off of him going down in the future. Like every
Like,
they'll do a movie and
can you
they'll
explain? Can you go explain that?
because
Just
they own him. They own his image likeness. They own all his fights. They own him.
that's
They
ins-
if Matt like Muhammad Ali's family owns all of his rights and everything. So
Mhm,
anybody who does anything with Muhammad Ali has to go through his family or that trust or whoever owns that. Same thing with Bruce Lee,
mhm.
right? Same thing. Well, now you have a promoter who owns that.
Wow.
that's-
Okay.
I think that is the reason why they're pushing so hard that John Jones is the greatest ever. Because when John's got one last fight left, he's almost out. Well, now a promoter owns that entity. So any television show, any t-shirt, any movie,
Documentary,
any
whatever.
documentary ever done, they profit off of it because they own it.
yeah.
Did he, did he
It's
happen? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
okay, Arch.
Now, I don't know shit from shit, but did he sign that away at some point? I mean,
That I
obviously.
had to sign my image and likeness away for $0 forever. That's what they fired me over in 2008. That's when they turned sour grapes on me.
Gotcha.
Right? And that's when you got a dispute them with your video game likeness
The
and all
video
that.
game. I remember.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That's insane. That's insane. It's like it's almost like in arts, like in music, right? An artist has, the publishing company or the record company owns their
Yeah,
catalog.
it's
But
like
at
Michael
some point,
Jackson buying the Beatles.
yeah,
Yeah.
at some point after so many years, I think legally you're allowed to buy it back or have some kind of. But with this, it's not. That's it. You're their property.
Fuck.
That's
And if
insane.
you argue or you say no, like then you're gone and you don't ever get an opportunity to fight for their title or compete against their top athletes.
Now, do they like obviously like change the rules, right? So I'm assuming, I guess, I mean, who knows? I doubt he'll fight, but like Conor McGregor's still under contract to UFC, but yet he's part owner of BKFC and
I see a lot of that stuff. I don't even know, man. it's all weird and fishy, and I'm wondering because like from what my understanding is like UFC got a big chunk of his fight with Mayweather,
Yeah.
right? That was part of the deal with him getting to do it is like they took like 30% or something like that. I could be wrong. Um, like and there were rumors they were talking about in the contracts or something that the UFC was going to like start taking pieces of everybody's business that they opened, right? Because like, oh,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have a name and no one would ever buy your stuff if it wasn't for us. So you owe us a piece of your business. I don't know how much of that was true or
God.
went through or whatever, but like I just have a sneaky suspicion that they have their hand deep in his pocket and everybody else's pocket, and everything they do, they have a say in or they get a piece of.
Boxing wasn't bad for that one night for them, right? When they fought
Yeah.
Mayweather. Boxing was okay to watch that night.
Oh, and now they're gonna try to jump in with Turkey and monopolize boxing.
I just saw that. Yeah, I just saw. I was just
Yes.
reading that yesterday, maybe.
He's gonna do to boxing what he did for slap fighting.
I,
I
I don't know
can't.
how they talk people into
I
slap
can't
fight.
fucking watch it.
It's awful. No one likes it. Everybody hates
I
Yeah,
it.
I
But no,
can't
no.
watch it.
You know who likes it? 12-year-old boys.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I can see
Because
it.
they left. They're probably
My
laughing.
sons, they are like, hey, let's watch it. Can we watch it, Daddy? Come on. I'm like, no, not my house.
Once in a blue, it'll come, through my feed, and I'm like, and I see this. They're clinching down. And I'm like, nah, fuck that. I just see them getting fucked. You, oh, I'm good. I don't know. For some reason, I'm just not good with
Yeah,
that.
I feel so bad for these fighters who have to like promote it.
Yeah.
You can see it in their face. They're just like, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't want to.
You want to know what I equate that to? Of I don't even a slap box athlete called a slap. Um, remember Stallone over the top, and and
Yep.
he's fucking training on
Yep.
his way driving. Like they're on their way there.
He had to arm wrestle to
Like,
save his son.
yeah, like that's what I think these people are because they're fucking hold on to they're all over the top, putting the fucking cap on
At
backwards.
least there was some skill to arm wrestling.
Uh,
There's a guy in that movie he's based off of that. The character is based off of that guy. His name is John something. There's a documentary called Pulling John, and
okay.
he was like 200-pound guy
Uh-huh.
who just was like undefeated for like 20 years in arm wrestling.
Wow.
Just destroyed everybody, and that was like there's some kind of technique or whatever involved, and
Yeah, it's got to be
that's a good
technical.
documentary. Watch that. But like that was like the peak of arm wrestling in the 80s, and that came out.
That's awesome. It's fucking awesome.
I just the slap funny thing. I honestly I don't get it. Like I don't get how I can't imagine they're getting paid a lot of money
To
to
me, it's like man, like watching Dumb and Dumber, and they're not Dumb and Dumber, but like Idiocracy, and they're like kicking each other in the nuts. Like
yeah.
that's the sport. We're just stop slap it, just start kicking each other in the nuts. Rochambeau, so you can take the hardest nut shot.
Uh, what is your take on the GFL, the newest league to come
First
out?
off,
Are they coming out?
any promoter who's calling themselves a league is pulling a fast one on you.
Okay.
Ooh, could we get into that a little bit?
There's no such thing as a league in prize fighting. You're a promotion.
Yeah.
Leagues, by definition, have multiple entities like as owners,
Different
right?
ownership. Yeah.
Multiple teams. Like it
Okay.
that doesn't add up. That's not prize fighting. Like that,
Okay.
it's a scam. It's a scam they pull on investors and fans who don't know any better because prize fighting is prize fighting. It's hundreds of years old, right? And the prize is not the money, guys. It's not the money. Anybody who's like, oh, well, you got to fight for the prize, which is money. No, prize is rank and title, glory. That's the prize. Money is just a secondary thing. For a real fighter,
Mm,
a real fighter, he's there to prove that he's the best fighter. The money comes with that, but we're there to prove we're the best, right? Like that's why guys fought for freaking $200 back when I was starting. It wasn't because, oh no, I'm getting rich. Nope. It was because I wanted to prove I was the baddest dude that night in front of those people. Like my little trophy I got for winning the fight, my little sword or whatever they give
No.
out sometimes. That's
Mm.
the prize, right? It's an internal prize.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
boasting prize. And if you don't understand that, it's probably because you don't have that fight in you. You ain't got that dog in you. You're not that type of person who would fight somebody just to prove you're better.
Again, I don't know what to make of the GFL. I heard some things where they were announcing, people they signed.
I think they're scamming investors. I think they're dressing up a turd. They're like, hey, look at all these fighters we got with all the following. Look how, look, it's going to be bigger than the UFC. We got so much following. We got so much Q score. We got all this jazz and hype around us. Give us money because we're going to be huge.
So,
And
but like,
then
but
they'll
like,
run out of
are,
money real fast
are
and
the fighters in on it though?
do
I
it to
mean, because
another
like,
one.
supposedly they're signing people and they're showing like the AI videos of the people, like they're. But supposedly, I don't. Maybe it was Rashad
I,
Evans, somebody.
they actually have a fight and get paid, the fighters ain't really in on it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, they might just be getting led down a primrose path, getting talked up like, oh, we're gonna have so much money and blah 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 blah, and the guys are just needing money because they're all beat up and retired and they're broke and their bodies hurt and they need to pay for stem cells.
Sure.
Right? So maybe that's what's going on. I don't know, man. I hope if the guys do fight, they get taken care of really well and get paid really well. But I just have the sneaky suspicion that they're trying to scam investors.
Yeah. It's just to me, it seemed weird that, um, they're naming these fighters. They've drafted teams, and it's like people that were in the UFC, but they don't no mention of when an event will be. Like
Mhm.
no mention of like a date, a
And
venue.
they announced like
Any-
weird made up weight classes saying that, oh, these weight classes are going to prevent weight cutting. I was like, you got like five weight classes. Like that's not, you want to prevent weight cutting. You have more weight classes. That way there's more options and the guys don't have to drop 20 pounds to
Yeah.
get to the next weight.
Sure.
Like I honestly believe they should start at 120 and go up every 5 pounds up to 205, then skip up to 225 and then have heavyweight after that, 265.
Yeah. It gives people more options, right?
Yeah.
More
That makes
options,
sense.
more titles, more opportunities for bigger fights, like more top tens. It just makes more sense to me.
Yeah, it just when I saw that and I saw the fighters that were in it or going to be in it or whatever, but it just seemed like you couldn't find any like there was a couple blurbs about how insurance for the fighters and like this kind of thing and take care of them, but there was nothing that like it it, it really it didn't say much. You know what I mean? It looked
Mhm.
more like flash than anything, and I wanted to get your take on it because you are obviously in the know when it comes to all this stuff as far as finger on the pulse of MMA. And I could see I could see if it is legit how people may want to watch it, but they announced fighters and obviously like no disrespect, like one of the guys I used to love, Shogun Hua, like I wouldn't want to see him fight again. I wouldn't want to see, people that you
Mhm.
love like potentially get hurt.
Yeah, you got guys who they're pretty beat up. They're pretty beat up and they really shouldn't be doing much athletically.
Yeah.
So they're saying GFL is 10 weight divisions
Okay.
launching in April. Well, let's see.
April. I mean,
I saw one graphic and it only had like five or six weight classes and
Hmm.
I can't
Yeah.
remember.
I just saw a fight they announced. Uh, Tony Ferguson against Dylan Dennis.
Just stop.
And
Stop, Tony. Stop.
yeah,
Hey,
no, it's it gets to that point where it is
Yeah.
almost like cringe because you don't want to see you lose so many fights in a row. It's like okay, and then somebody like Dylan Dennis who has like one fight in MMA, but yet I guess because of the Connor connection he had or whatever, it just seems to or internet trolling seems to talk his way into stuff.
Yep. But he's not as beat up, so I mean, he'd have a big advantage.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
and he's relatively young too.
he
So,
doesn't have he doesn't have the miles
but
that Tony does. Like that's just I don't know, man. Just where's the commission? To me, the commissions have checked out a long time ago, and they're failing athletes and people. Like
Mm.
you got a coke problem commissions. What's going on here?
yeah,
Like you just take money from wherever. You don't care if someone dies. Like just whatever. Screw. That's like their one job.
Yeah.
Like commission's job is to protect the athlete
yeah,
overall, and they've completely checked out. Completely checked out.
that's no good. Um, so what else are you up to? I see you doing a lot of seminars.
Yep.
You got the podcast going on. You still playing the ukulele? We see you were playing that
Little
last.
bit, little bit. I've been distracted though. I've been distracted. I've been working on the house a little bit. We're getting prepped. We're gonna sell it. We're gonna sell the house here. I'm getting out of California.
Where
Okay.
are you about?
Headed back to Indiana.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh,
Yep. I got a baby girl on the way.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
we're
congrats,
gonna get
man.
we're
Congrats.
gonna get back there before the baby comes. So yeah, I'm tired of this place.
You weren't possibly near the fires or anything, or hopefully not.
No, no, no. I'm in NorCal, so
Okay.
we're about 5 hours away. But my
Oh,
girl's her sister, they lost their apartment, so they've
oh,
been shopping for a new place. It's just a big mess, but like California's a big mess. I'm
yeah.
not surprised by anything in this place anymore.
Hmm.
So you're going back to where around where you grew up?
Around where I was
Yeah, you're
growing up,
originally
but
from, right? From
from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
okay.
What I'm noticing is like, man, like the developers are out of control in this country, man. They buy. They used to buy a plot of land, and then they'd put like one house on every acre, two houses on every acre at the most. And now it's like 6 to 8 houses on every acre.
Cool.
Like you open up your kitchen window and you're looking across at your neighbor, like right there.
Yep.
You don't have enough room in between houses for a fence. And then it's like a 15-minute drive to get out of your cul-de-sac to get to a main road. It's crazy. It's really crazy, man. It creeps me out. And all the houses look exactly the same. So there's plenty of houses for sale that are affordable there, but like I don't want to live like that. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
find I'm about ready to buy a patch of dirt and just park a trailer on it.
Just
There you go.
fucking
Just
We're from New Jersey, and it seems that any piece of property here, they're putting up
off
apartment condo.
flies.
Yeah, it
yep.
doesn't matter. It could be a little fucking shit parking lot
It's not
condo.
same here, same here. Yeah, they're putting up condos and stuff too, and it's just like they're not fixing the roads up. They're not going to do anything for the influx of traffic that's going to happen when those buildings get filled up. Like I'm just like, man, this is the nightmare. I can in a night is gonna in a 10 years like this is gonna be a super nightmare because all these buildings they're putting right here. That's nuts, man. You're
Yeah.
gonna issue those 15-minute cities for everybody.
I have
Take your car away.
realtors contacting me at least once a week. You looking to sell your
Oh,
home?
I get like three things in my mailbox every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, just got here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the housing market's good. Yeah, okay, you get good money for your house now, but guess what? You got to buy something else, and
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
fucked.
yeah, like that's the thing. It's like if I sold this place and wanted to stay here, like I'd have to downsize. I go for a 3 bedroom. I have to buy a studio.
Insane. Well,
It's wild.
congratulations on the baby on the way.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much for making time for us again. We absolutely love your insight, the way your brain works, and how you know about these things, and the way you think. Uh, where can everybody find your podcast and find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. That's where I do the main show. I go up on Twitter and other stuff too. But official Jon Fitch on YouTube or Jon Fitch Smash. They have the at thing now on that. So add Jon
Yeah.
Fitch Smash on YouTube. Uh at Jon Fitch Smash on Instagram. JonFitch.net on Twitter. Those are the main places they can find me. I have a Gumroad. You can follow my link trees, whatever, in my social medias and follow the Gumroad. And I got programs for sale on Gumroad where you can learn some violence,
Awesome.
right? And then you can always reach out by DMs and try to book a seminar. I'm all over the place. I just got back from Texas on Tuesday night, and then I think I'll be in South Dakota coming up here next month. And then I got to take a little. I'm gonna take a little break until the baby, because I got moving and a lot of stuff to do.
Got a lot of shit to do.
Yeah.
Well, if you're available 2029, another 4 years from now, we'll jump on another podcast, brother.
If you do a seminar or in New Jersey, hit us up. We love to chat again. So
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, dude.
And Weight Cut Bibles. That's still
Weight Cut Bible's still out there. Learn to cut weight. Failing Upward Death by Ego is my other book. I haven't got to the part 2, but someday maybe. Yeah, so I'm around, reach out and say what's up. And yeah, Sunday night at 6 p.m. on the left coast, that's when I do my stream. And I do a lot I interact with you guys a lot who are in the chat.
Awesome. Jon, thank you so much, and we can't wait to talk to you again in the future.
Yeah, man.
Good talking to you.
Appreciate you. The great Jon Fitch.
There you go, brother.
Hey, well.
The great Jon Fitch.
The great Jon Fitch. What
Very insightful. Very insightful.
Very insightful. I absolutely love his takes. His podcast is awesome, by the way. Jon Fitch Knows Nothing.
Yeah.
He has a unique perspective on things, and he makes you think. And I love talking to people that make you think. And
Why do you like talking to me then?
I don't like talking. No one ever said I like talking to you. I'm contractually obligated to do this show with you, and other than that, I mean, I kind of got no use for you, but what are you gonna do? The things that you say are conspiracy theories are like probably not, right?
Yeah.
He's obviously being like humble and modest, but he said this shit, years and years ago about this lawsuit and how it would go and this and that.
Yeah.
And I mean, fuck, he's right.
He's right.
It proved him right. So
Jon Fitch,
always fun to talk to.
The Alex Jones of MMA.
Oh, God.
No. I'm just joking. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed this episode. Please visit us on YouTube, right? NTTFGPOD, of course. Hit that fucking button, son.
Subscribe like a motherfucker.
With that being said, Rocco, what do you have to say to the people?
If you just heard us talking to the legendary Jon Fitch, and you would never snitch because you don't want to get thrown in a ditch, and just like Dave Chappelle, you want to be rich, bitch, then you just listen to Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast.
We out.